This video is how to set up the Digital Diamond baseball environment to do our bidding in Statis Pro baseball. It's really more of, it's not a how-to because I'm probably going to be learning here as well, but I wanted to record the process for just in case I need it later. And who knows, maybe it'll help someone else who's doing a similar project. So I have already set up the player pool as per previous video for the 1994 NL Statis Pro baseball season, and it's right here. We had our draft that was live streamed. You can see that on YouTube. So let's go into the library here for our actual season 6 1994 NL season. And there's some settings that are worth checking out. If I go to library options and under basic options, in-game options, let's see what we've got. Oh yeah, this is where we can see statistics and showing the batter average. That looks good. Real life, I like that. Stat 2, OPS, that seems good. What else is there? Yeah, that's fine. And for pitcher stats, ERA and WHIP. Yeah, I like WHIP. Although on-base percentage is a good one too. Well, we'll start with that. We can always change it. Okay. Gameplay speed. I don't want it to go faster than, let's see, game options. There we go. That's the board game companion. Yeah. This is all fine. Very fast. Yeah, that's what we want. Okay, I already pushed that forward. And what's under advanced options here? Let's take a look. Alternate rules in the Otani DH rule. Yeah, we're not going to have that back in 94. Okay, so that looks good. That's all set up. The next thing I want to do is set up our teams. We have teams, still the NL teams here. My thought is, if I look at the team editor, here are all of the, in 1994, we were up to 14 NL teams. And I think what I'm going to do is leave them here just sort of as free agent buckets. And I will add our two teams. So the first thing I need is to make some ballparks and move some files over to do that. I have some pictures of our ballparks. Let's sit for a moment and think about what we want. We want the ballparks. We need a day and a night image for the ballparks. We want team logos. I like pictures of the players as well. And then we're going to have to, once we've created the teams, we have to assign our players that we drafted to the teams. We're going to want to modify the organization. The organization is how the league is set up. And we're going to want to create the schedule. I think that's our to-do list. So let's start with the ballparks. I think we go back here. And actually, before we even do that, let's move some files around. I'm going to bring up my File Explorer. Here it is. And we've got the Digital Diamond data files here. So we want some ballpark images. I think there's a ballparks directory here. There's a bunch of actual baseball ballpark information here, but we want our Statis Pro baseball ones. So let me see if I can find. Got some pictures. Let's see, I'm going to label this. I'm going to bring these images over. There isn't really a written manual on how to do this. There are some videos online on how to set up ballparks, but I don't know that there is an ideal for instance, image size or resolution or certain parameters that are best. If we look at some of these fields, for instance, if I look at the details for one of these, the baseball fields that we see here, it says that the dimensions are 950 by 555. But if you screenshot, if you're playing the game and you screenshot the ballpark that is displayed, then it can have different dimensions than that. For instance, I've tried to set up my DDBB to be 1080p. And when I screenshot just the ballpark area, the dimensions are more like 1750 by 700, somewhere around there. So I think it just, I think the program scales as needed, the ballparks. So let's see what we can do. I've generated some images for our ballparks. So I'm going to move them into this directory. I've got BBS Park, which is where the, there we go, down on the bottom, BBS Park, that's where the dial-up modems are going to be playing. And then I have the altar, which is where the sacrifice flies are going to be playing. Here we go. So those files are in place. I want to put some logos in place. If I go back up one level, here's a logos directory. And here are all the default logos. This too, it's not clear what the best thing to do is. The default logos here are, what's their size? They're 1280 by 1135, which is really big. They don't really display that large. On my setup, they're displaying at 115 by 115, pretty much, pixels. So, but I have some logos that I've made for Statis Pro Baseball for our teams. Here they are. So I've got a PNG version. This is a really big version, 1254 by 1254, and then I've got smaller ones, 115 by 115. So I think we're probably going to use these smaller ones. So those logos are in place. And I have player picks so that I've generated. Here we go. Got a whole directory of player picks. Look at that. So these are kind of fun. We'll be using those. I had AI generate them, so that makes them especially fun. For instance, I did one for Greg Maddux. It made him left-handed, but I'm just I'm just leaving it with the flaws and all. It's pretty funny. There's a where's Mike Kingery? That's my, oh, here he is. This is my favorite one. He's got 3 arms. So I gotta keep that stuff in there. That's so fun. So I've got player picks, And finally, I've got a schedule. Oh, here's schedules. Look at this. Beautiful. Okay. Schedules. I made a schedule here. And the idea behind our schedule is whoever won the last season gets to be the Dodgers, and whoever lost, their schedule is set by the Dodger opponents. And one of the tricky bits is that 1994, the season ended early. So if you go into Digital Diamond Baseball and export the 94 season, it's only going to be the games played. But we want to play 162 games in spite of it being a strike short season. So I had to find what hopefully was an accurate copy of the 94 season, and I extracted all of the Dodger games, and I set up a schedule for us by replacing all the occurrences of the names for the Dodgers with my team, because I won last season, and replaced all of the teams the Dodgers played. I replaced their names with Sacrifice Flies, my friend's team. So I think that's about everything. I think that's what we're going to need to set this up. If not, I'll find out on the fly. Sorry, my headset turned off for a sec. Okay. So let's turn this off, and we're going to start with the ballparks. Ballpark editor. Here we go. All right, we need a new ballpark. Oh, wait, here I started a BBS park right there. Maybe I should delete it. Okay, there we go. Do I have, no, that's it. Okay, let's do a new one. And BBS Park. What's the nickname? The BBS. Sorry, let's put it in Silicon Valley. The capacity. What's a good capacity for us? How about 31,416? I know that sounds small, but it's a obvious nerd joke. Okay, open. We'll say 1994. We'll just say it's still open. We're on grass. We have a retractable roof. All right, let's grab our images. So we've got the daytime. There it is. Let's do the nighttime image. Boop. Open. There it is. And I don't worry about any of this stuff. I don't think the dimensions matter to us. All right, BBS Park, there it is. Now we want to edit the layout. We want to move all of these tags so they're in the right place. Yeah, look at that. That looks nice. It is warped. You can see here, like the catcher is kind of warped. This is stretched out a little bit and maybe compressed in a vertical, but it looks good. All right, so we want to place the pitcher. Pitcher goes here. The catcher will be down here. There you go. First baseman, we'll put that right here. Maybe a little lower. Should I move the catcher up a little bit? I'm not sure. We'll put him here. All right. Second baseman's over here. Shortstop. Looks like shortstop is right under left-handed batter. I'll put that. Let me move the left-handed batter. Where is it? Left-handed batter will be here. Right-handed batter can be here. All right, now I can see shortstop. That's pretty good. Let's just move them over a little bit. Shortstop. Right. Third base. Left fielder is here. Center fielder is, oh, look at you. Now I see left-handed batter was up and you're shading to the right. That's really smart of you. There's the right fielder. Okay, now let's put the base runners on. Here's the guy on first. Put this guy on second right there. The guy on third can be here. That looks good, I think. Okay, let's do the layout for daytime. Oh, look at that. That does look like Silicon Valley out there. And this is going to be kind of the same thing. Pitcher, catcher, first base, second base. Oh yeah, I can see the shortstop's legs right there. Shortstop, third base. There's the left fielder, center fielder, and right fielder. Right-handed batter can be over here. Left-handed batter over there. Base runners. First base. Put you down a little bit. Second base. And there's the third guy on third base. Safe. All right. We got one park set up. Let's do another one. I had a bigger name for this. What was it going to be? I was telling my friend about it. I'm looking it up. Oh, yeah. The altar at Swarm Field. Just call it the altar. And what city is this in? I have no idea. I'll just put it in the valley. Give them a bigger capacity. All right, 1994. Grass and retractable. We like retractable roofs because if we ever get a rain delay or a rain out result for a special play, we just ignore it. Okay, so the altar in the daytime and the altar at night. There we go. All right, let's take a look. There's BBS Park. The altar down here. Yes, the altar at Swarm Field. Here it is. All right, let's do the night layout. Yeah, this is definitely warped from the original. You can see because the moon was a perfect circle in the original. Now it's a squashed oval, but that's okay. All right, here's our pitcher. Catcher's down here. First base will be, it's kind of close to, all right, well, I'll put first base over here. Second base can be here. Shortstop. Third base. Left field. Center field. Right field. Don't want to get in the way of these advertisements. All right, right-handed batter right here. And left-handed batter over here. Let's do base runners. First base. Second base. And third base. Hopefully that'll work. We'll go with that. And now let's do the daytime layout. Oh, nice pretty day. Swarm Field. Pitcher. Catcher. First base. Second base. Shortstop. Third base. Left field. Center field. Right field. Right-handed batter. left-handed batter, and the base runners first. Second, and third. We can adjust these later. We'll have to maybe play a game and take a look. So that should be the ballparks. All right, let's make some teams. Team editor. Let's do new. And in Silicon Valley, we have the dial-up modems. 1994. Tag will be DUM, D-U-M. And let's grab our logo. Right. There we go. And let's pick some. We have to pick our ballpark. BBS Park. So we want, let's do some green. There we go. Yeah, we'll do that for now. Dial-up modems. That looks good. And then for away, we'll use that same green. Okay. So that's our team for dial-up modems. Oh, I see what it did. Oh, we'll go with that for now. I can always change it. Take a look. Could also maybe do it like this. Dial up. Just call this the modems. And it looks like, yeah, dial-up modems. That looks a little better. Okay. Let's do another team. This will be the Sacrifice Flies. 1994. The SFS. We're going to do a different logo. There we go. And they have the altar at Swarm Field. And let's give them a trim of red. Sound like blood red, something like that. There we go. And then away, maybe we'll do this red, and their trim can be also red. What do you think? That looks good. Okay. There's the dial-up modems, and there are the Sacrifice Flies. All right, so we did logos, ballparks. Now we need to assign players. So let's do that. The other thing I want to do, let's go in the library options, player picture subfolder. So if we look again, we want to, in logos, it's called SBB logos. Maybe I should, oh, that's really fine. And then within that directory, Oh, sorry, I'm not looking at logos. I want to look in player picks. There we go. The subdirectory is called SBB 1994 NL. And then the player name is first underscore last. So this should catch it right here. So we'll do that. Okay. And I wanted to see one more thing. Here's a JPEG. Yeah, okay. I tried PNGs when I did a trial run earlier, and they scaled really poorly. The JPEG seemed to scale better. All right. So now we need to actually assign the players. So I'm going to off camera pull up my the draft, and just one by one, there's probably a easier way to do this, but I think just using the draft one by one, I can assign players. So let's get moving on that. One of the easiest things to do, maybe if we go to the player editor, is just start going by team. If we go to Atlanta, for instance, let's see. I can take Greg Maddox and put him on the dial-up modems, just like that, and save. So now he should be there. You can also do all players like this. Will this filter for me? No. Okay. If I go to Bagwell, I can assign him to sacrifice flies for bonds. I can do the same, put them on the dial-up modems. All right. And so I'm going to actually roll through this. We don't have to watch on camera, so I'm going to snap my fingers and we'll be right back. And just like that, all the players have been assigned. So let's see, if we drop this down, we can look at, here are the dial-up modems, and there we go. We've got all the players from the draft assigned. And we should also see sacrifice flies. Here are all the players that are now assigned to the sacrifice flies. So let's take a look and see how our changes look. Let's try an exhibition game. And we should be able to, oh, there's a reason the teams aren't listed here. Let's go back. And we need to go to the organization editor. Okay, so these are the teams currently not in a division. And what I want to do is delete the whole AL. And then for the NL, I can actually delete this and this. I'll just keep the West maybe, and remove, and remove. And we will put the sacrifice flies, here let's edit, and we will put the sacrifice flies and the dial-up modems in the West. There we go. So that is the new organization. It's just our two teams. All these teams, they've just become free agent buckets, as I've mentioned before. I think that should do it. Okay, let's pop out. Now what happens if I play an exhibition game? Aha! All right, so I can do dial-up modems. Oh, look at that. There's Greg Maddox throwing left-handed. Let's get the sacrifice flies in here. And we'll use a board game companion. Let's try and set the lineups. So far, so good. We saw the logos. And here are all the players. All right. We can see what kind of funky lineup it picked for me. Great. And then for the sacrifice flies, here's the lineup it picked for the flies. The problem with these images is when they're dark, and so when they're small, they're harder to see, but let's just go with that. Play ball. All right. How is this looking? Not bad. Bobby Bonilla is up. Andy Benez is on the mound. Oh, and then here are the images. There's Andy Benez, and there's Bobby Bonilla. Let's load the bases and see how this looks. I may need to shrink the font. I do like that it's easy to read. This is very fast. Okay. Look at Grissom catching backhanded, like breaking his arm while he catches. That's hilarious. Okay, let's try again. All right, Bonilla overlaps Morris just a little bit. Second base isn't bad. That was the one I was most concerned about. All right, let's load the bases and see how it looks. Not bad, not bad. Okay, so what I would say is let's move left field up and left field up and maybe the first baseman up. Okay. I'm going to make a note to myself. First base up. Okay. Let's exit. Oops. And let's try to do an exhibition game. And we'll put the sacrifice flies here. Dial-up modems is the home team. And let's play ball. Take a look. Okay, I'm concerned a little bit more about this one. All right, we are going to, let's load the bases again. Yeah, okay. So I think first and third are okay. Second, the runner on second. So we'll maybe bring down the runner on second, but also bump up second base and shortstop a little bit. That would be a cool feature if in the ballpark editor they could actually put some real team name or real player names out there, and you could push them around using the font you've selected. So let's go to the ballpark editor and make these changes. I hope they help. All right, so let's do layout. I have to do night and day. All right, so the shortstop is going to go here. Oops, I moved the pitcher by mistake. Stay there, pitcher. The second baseman is going to go here. And the runner on second can come down a little bit. let's save that. We'll do the daytime layout too. Shortstop goes up. The second baseman can go up. And the runner on second can come down a little bit. All right, we'll go with that. And for the alter, we had left field. We wanted to bring left. Oops. Can I undo that? Runner on second. No. Isn't really an undo. All right. Runner on second. You can go there. All right. Left field. We had left field go up a little bit. And we want to bring the first baseman up a little bit. There we go. Maybe there. Let's save. Edit the daytime layout. Left field up a little bit. And the first baseman up too. Okay. All right, hopefully that'll work. We'll go with that. All right, so we set up the organization, modified the ballparks. As we play games, maybe I'll move around the tags as well, so there's enough spacing and for readability. Finally, let's make a schedule. Schedule editor is what we want. So interesting. Okay. So this is the schedule from 94. And what I need to do is edit in File Explorer here. And here are schedules. And there is this one, NL schedule CSV. I want to edit that. Just give me a minute. I'm going to do this off screen really quickly. And what I want to do, I see how it does it. It takes the name and the year. So if I go back and look at the team editor, I'll see 1994 dial-up modems. Okay, so what I want to do in my spreadsheet is replace I just wrote DUM for dial-up modems, but I wanted to say 1994 dial-up space modems. Replace that. Okay, and then for I put SFS in the spreadsheet for the sacrifice flies, but instead what I want to do is make it say 1994 sacrifice space flies. There we go. Okay. And if I can save that or export, okay. So I now have a new CSV file. The data's changed. Let's get rid of that and go back to the schedule. I haven't ever done this before, so bear with me. We want to go back to the schedule editor. what I've got is a spreadsheet. Let me show you something. I'm going to import it, and it shows you the formats for your spreadsheet. It can be the date and the teams. It can be the date, the teams, and if it was a day or a night game. And this is what I did. You can also say how many innings there were. But I did this format right here, the second one. Hopefully it'll work. And here, that's the schedule I made right there. Let's see what happens when I import. Oh, and let's clear the current schedule. Got to do that too. Interesting. Okay. Can't find it, it says. Okay, and there's import. It's talking about a file right here. Okay, good to know. All right, well, let me go look at that. We've got wonder. Let me see what that says again. Yeah. Let's go up to import and no, I don't have any such file that has that name. Team map properties. Let's see if this says anything. Oh, interesting. Okay, well, I can try something else too. We make a version of my import file. Or of my schedule, that is. Here we go. And I can file, edit, find and replace. We're going to find 1994. Okay. All right, I'm replacing in this spreadsheet, I'm actually reverting this to the abbreviations. Okay. So we'll see if that helps. Going to try importing. There should be 2 of these now. Can I refresh file list? There we go. Ah, there we go. So we've got the away team and the home team. There we go. And there should be, show all the entries. They're go up to 50 because this is on a month. April, May, June, July, August, and here we go into September. Yeah, great. And there were 2 games in October. Look at that. Okay, we've got a schedule. So if we play a schedule game, if we go to look at this. Not nice. All right, well, I think we are ready to play a season. So if anything else comes up, I'll try and make a little short video of it. But for now, that is all.